Hi everyone! Kumusta po kayo lahat? I hope na narito kayo sa magandang kalagayan and may guest tayo, big time na guest. And I will say, napapahanga niya ako sa kada storya niya. And then, sandali lang I need to see where is that. Sandali. Wait. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Magandang gabi sa inyo lahat! Welcome to your Sunday night habit. This is the Rumble! Hello! Kamusta na kayo lahat? Na-miss nyo na ako? 1 week lang naman yun. And I'm very honored that I will interview this guy all the way from Jacksonville, Florida, and also a big time Hall of Famer. He was inducted in 2012. But you know, all I can say is, malapit na matapos ang season. We're going on the final day of the season later on. And we will know who will face each other in the play-in tournament and also in the 2022 NBA playoffs starting on Easter Sunday. Especially my Golden State Warriors are in the final 8 of the Western Conference, the 16 teams. You know, I would like to say, we can do this. We can win the title itself. So, without further ado, let's stop the music right now. And I will introduce to you my guest for this evening. But before that, let's see first if I am live. Let's see first if I am live already. I hope yes. I hope so. Wait again. Okay, I'm already live. I'm already live. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Okay, I'm already live. I'm already live. Okay, I will just share it. I will just share it first. Okay. Wait lang. Mahina kalaban. You know, if you have questions, by the way, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask questions. And, you know, I will be happy. I will be happy to answer that our guest will answer those questions. I have so many basketball groups here. Wait again. Okay. Okay. All right. Sorry for some delay because I'll introduce to you my guest for this evening. So, who is he? Actually, he was born in Chipley, Florida. Chipotle. Sorry, it's Chipley, Florida. Um, this guy, um, he actually played in high school at TJ Rollhack in Chipley before he transferred to Carver Academy in Dothan, Alabama. And then he played for two Division One schools. First, you have the Gardner Webb University, who are the Running Bulldogs from 1967 to 69. Then he played for Jacksonville in 1969 to 71. So they were called as the Dolphins under the Atlantic Sun Conference. And in the NBA draft, he was selected seven round, 117 overall in 1971. Okay, who comprised of the 1971 NBA draft? The number one draft pick is Austin Carr. And then you have also Sidney Wicks. And then you have the, the NBA all time blocks leader in a single game, Elmer Smith. And also, but he didn't play actually in the NBA already. He played in the other side of the professional basketball in the States called the ABA or the American Basketball Association. He played for the Kentucky Colonels. And because of him, he led the Colonels to their only championship in 1975 under head coach UB Brown. Okay? And then, back then, professionally, after the ABA got merged with the NBA, he played with the Chicago Bulls. And then after the Chicago Bulls, he played for the San Antonio Spurs. And remember, he is a six-time NBA All-Star, a five-time ABA All-Star, and then a champion in the ABA, and then the most valuable player in the playoffs of the ABA. And I'll tell you, this guy, he is the NCAA Division One rebound record holder, average games with 22.7. And then he is also the NBA field goal career leader at 59.9%, almost 60% from the floor. So, I'll introduce to you the former Bull and the former Spur, the A-Train, Artis, Gilmore!
Okay, Billy. All
Hey, good
right.
evening, sir. Welcome to the round ball in the Philippines.
Yes, okay. Wow. What an introduction.
Well, it is a long introduction that I will tell. So I will ask. So we will start the interview right now. It is an exclusive interview with me and you.
Okay.
So I will ask you when. Okay, how is your basketball career began? How was your basketball? When did you start playing basketball?
Billy, you mentioned some of those locations where I was, especially where I grew up in Chipley, Florida, and attended Rolite High School, and then eventually, at the end of my senior year, I went to Dothan,
Dothan,
which is
Alabama.
Alabama, which is not that far away from Chipley. And after graduating from Carver High School in Dothan, Alabama, then I attended a junior college, which was Gardner Webb, was a 2 year institution, and then transferred to Jacksonville University. So actually, Billy, that's where I was able to uh, develop and formulate and kind of refine my skill in basketball.
At what age do you start? At what age do you start playing basketball, if I may ask? At what
Oh,
age?
well, actually, When I was 12 years old, I wore size 12, and then at 13, I wore size 13, and my parents couldn't afford 13s, and then when I reached 14s, I couldn't wear. There was no 14 size shoe, so actually, kind of messing around in Chipley, Florida, a little small town, uh, about the size of my room here, but there was not much of an opportunity to really develop basketball skills, but it sort of actually came a little bit later. Mostly my junior year, I was able to play a little bit, and then that summer, actually moving going to Dothan, Alabama for recreation because there was no. We would go to Dothan, Alabama one day out of the week to enjoy the luxury that they had in a large city rather than a small town like Chipley. So playing with those guys over there, I was able to really step my skill level up, improve it just a little bit, and because of that, I decided to move over to Dothan and graduate my last year in high school.
So, meaning you are a late bloomer. Am I right? A late bloomer
That's
in
I,
high school.
I, I like that, Billy. Exactly that. A late bloomer.
Yeah, because here in the Philippines, some of our imports, especially African players, they're actually late bloomers also. They played soccer. That is their favorite sport, if you're talking about. But if that's why I said late bloomer because of your age. When do you start? At 12,
Yeah,
13. That is the time that mostly people will definitely say, there, this guy is a raw talent. That's why I will say.
yeah,
Now, eto, you will have to share this story in 1969. From Gardner Webb, you transferred to a small university in Jacksonville, Florida, named Jacksonville University. If I may ask, why? Why do you choose that school?
Well, Billy, what you have to think in terms of in those early years, there was no press, there was no way of communication. And after moving from those little small towns in that area, from Chipley to Dothan and then into Gardner Webb, um, not that much knowledge was known. I mean, the way you get the media out was a Pony Express, you know. But I had a real dear friend of mine. He passed away not too long ago, but he and I both decided to go there, and he was recruited by Jacksonville University. So he said, "Man, listen, I'm going to leave here." Which Gardner Webb was on the verge. It was a 2-year program, and they were on the verge of merging and really adding a third and a fourth year. But he and I both decided to move on. He said I was recruited by JU, and I'm going to JU. Would you like to come along? And I said, of course, man, I'm in. So we both decided to come transfer to Jacksonville University. And from there, he redshirted that one particular year. But I was able to play, and we really excelled. And as you mentioned, Billy, Jacksonville University was just a really small institution,
Yeah,
probably student population uh, less than 2,000 students, and we were able to excel and go to the finals and play for a championship against UCLA.
that's why I will ask that question. But before that, here is my partner who will join me interviewing you. Walang iba, kundi si Ryan Anthony Pajaro!
Yes, good evening. I'm broadcasting here from City of Dreams, Manila. I just watched a basketball game. Well, he never lost. Anyway, hello artists and hello Billy, hello sa mga fans. We're back. I'm back. It's been a long time
Yeah,
coming.
Well,
Okay,
thank you. Absolutely. Good to meet you.
well, I would like to have a story. I would like to ask you this one, 1970. And who would have thought that this small university goes to the finals facing UCLA? And you
Um,
average 22.7 rebounds in
per-
one season, the highest in NCAA Division 1. Okay, here's my question. Tell me that 1970 season. What is it all? What do you feel that your team, Jacksonville, went unexpectedly to the championship game?
well, that's a great question. But just before we go there, I have one little trivia question. I was averaging 20 which was rebounds and scoring. Now, can you guess who was the second person behind me? How about
The
Dr.
second,
J, Julius Irving?
yes, Julius Irving averaged 2020 with the
Y-
University of Massachusetts
That's
before
right.
he was
Uh,
drafted in the ABA. Yeah,
yes, with the Virginia Squires. But anyways,
yeah,
that question, then that opportunity to play for a national championship, we were not stage frightened. We were excited about the opportunity to compete, and but unfortunately, I think UCLA had already won, 4 or 5 championships already,
yes.
and
You have
so
John Wooden
yeah,
coaching against you.
yeah, and so it was a little different experience. Some things started to happen. In fact, a number of individuals later on said that how could UCLA shoot 35 foul shots and we only shoot 3 or 4? So the disparity in the foul shooting.
Bias. The bias
So
officiating, I say.
yeah, little Jacksonville University competing in that atmosphere was really kind of a nice challenge and very good.
um, I think you fought against Bill Walton. Am I right? You fought against Bill Walton in his first year.
And UCLA?
Yes.
No, it was Steve Patterson. Bill Walton was like a year or so later after me.
What? But
And
there's Sidney
Kareem
Weeks.
was just above in front of me, and Bill Walton was behind me at UCLA.
Actually, Sidney Weeks played against you. He grabbed the rebound on the Sports Illustrated cover against you, Sidney
Right,
Weeks. Well,
exactly.
how do you feel playing against a prominent team before with UCLA under head coach John Wooden?
Well, before then, we played against a great team like University of Kentucky, and eventually Dan Issel become my teammate, and we talked about that so quite often. But we were not. There was no stage fright there. We just had a number of things that did not go our way. So as a result, UCLA was able to take advantage of certain situations because of experience, and they moved forward and excelled, and certainly was able to win the championship.
How about the fan support? The fan support, well, when you say March Madness, all of the stadiums are fully capacitated, capacitated
Yeah,
with
capacity.
people. Capacity are in full capacity, cheering you, cheering UCLA, cheering Kansas, cheering North Carolina. What's the atmosphere during your time?
It was very similar. I mean, we were so excited about having, we spoke about my school and the fact that we had probably 2,200 students, and the big institution like, Kentucky and UCLA, they had half of the arena.
Louisville.
Yeah, and we, and our little group was sitting kind of the cheerleaders and the little group sitting over there in the corner. So, but we had great support, and we were proud that the ones who came and supported us we were so excited about that, and it just brought about a unity. And during that time, the racial issues was pretty tense in the areas like Jacksonville, but that team was able to bring about something kind of special, a unique personality in the community, and just kind of change the mindset and the people, and just brought us all together. And so just that basketball team was a measure of something positive, especially during the real heavy racial issues that everybody was dealing with. Just
Yeah,
like a couple years before, Martin Luther King was assassinated,
yeah,
in
Martin Luther
Memphis.
King.
So there was a lot going on during that time frame.
Well, syempre, hindi naman ako pwede magtanong. Kuya Ryan, pwede na kita ipasok. Sandali. Okay,
Well,
wait
you
lang.
see, I'm great at understanding Filipino.
Thank you, enough. Kuya Ryan,
Well, yes, I have some questions for Mr. Altus Gilmore. Well, from college, going to the NBA, between college basketball and professional basketball, has officiating changed from the 70s up until today? What can you say about it?
Today's basketball,
yes.
Yes.
I, he's talking about the officiating.
the professional game.
Yes, the college basketball until the professional. What do you notice before during during your time and during today about officiating?
Oh, it's huge now. All the technology that's involved and if you figure before, if the ref made a call, it was a bad call. It was no big deal. But today, they try to make sure the game is called right. If there is something that's happened during the course of the game, especially during my era, it was really physical. Guys throwing elbows and everything. So you got knocked out, no big deal. But today, they're trying to clean the game up. And if something like that happens, you're out of the game. Or they're able to go and look at the video screen and determine whether or not it was flagrant or not. So
Yeah,
a lot has happened, especially on that level. So they make sure they try to get it right. And I think back in the early years, we had the FBI would come in and share with us and tell us, says, listen, no gambling and, don't get involved because that's really bad for the game and everything. But now look at major city like Vegas, they got, and
betting.
and I was in Chicago a couple of days ago, and they are actually building a casino right inside of United Center, so you
Hmm.
can go and bet right there at the game. So a lot, many things have changed about the game thus far. So many things have changed.
Other question, Kuya Ryan?
Yes. One more thing, no? With regards to your what you call this, your college days in the 60s and 70s. Have you represented to the U.S. team, and what are your assessments to the U.S. team before, especially on that 1972 controversy where you're supposed to be U.S. has won over USSR, not unless not until that last second baseball pitch that where USSR won the gold medal in the Munich Olympics.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that their first shot they took and they ended up missing it, and for whatever reason they
It was
said, "Oh no,
reset.
no,
It was
that didn't
reset.
count." Yeah, so
Yeah, it was reset to 3 seconds. That has
yeah,
happened 3 times.
they said it reset it 3 times until they was able to win, and they threw it
Sergey
off.
Bello made the winning shot on the third time.
Yeah,
And actually
yeah,
during your time, actually you can suit up because you're not yet a professional during that time. You're
right,
not yet
right.
a professional. You can
Yeah,
suit up for the
but that
US
was
team.
yeah, yeah. That was that, and I remember it was Tommy Burleson and Doug Collins and
Yes, Doug Collins is one of them.
yeah,
That was actually the most famous player during that 1972 span Munich
right,
Olympic.
right. So that was, it was tragic and kind of sad the way that process really took place, and the way that the timer and of course the Russians, they had control
Politics
of
and
the,
all over.
what is the committee, the yeah, the Russians, that they was able to get it redone until they was accomplished the goal, which was to win. And then so
It
after three
happened.
tries, they end up winning.
Well, ended up winning, and until now, the US team never got the 1972 silver medal until now
Yeah,
because he refused it. Now, from college, you're now go professional. But you don't play first in the NBA. But you were picked in the 1971 draft, 117th overall by the Chicago Bulls. But because it features that time Austin Carr, Elmer Smith, and Sidney Weeks, the top three. Actually, number one is Carr, number two is Wicks, and the number three is Elmer Smith, the shot block king during
yeah.
that time. Um, but you choose the ABA and you choose the Kentucky Colonels. And there's one interview, and you will answer it again. How do you choose ABA over NBA? And then you said, I like the colors of the basketball.
Well, that was a quick, short answer, but I don't know whether I was embarrassed or not, but the fact is, I was fortunate enough to sign a long-term contract, and as I mentioned earlier, struggling. My family was really struggling. We barely had bread and food to put on the table, and I had younger brothers under me, and so it was important with that long-term contract. They said, okay, I was told if you receive an injury, you're going to continue to receive these dollars for a long, long term, and so that was most important about being able to support my family. Be able to take care of my mom and my dad, my younger brothers and sisters. So that was the
Okay, I
that was
will
the
I will ask you a follow up. Well, you were drafted, right? You were drafted by the
yes.
ABA, and then you have a salary that you put it on. The follow up question is, where do you put your first salary there? Where where do you put your first salary?
My first
Uh, yeah.
My first portion of the money, I was able to get my mother and father a place to live, and been able to support my brothers, my younger brothers and sisters. So that's where those funds was able to go.
Wow, that's a great
Yeah,
honor. A
yeah,
great son and a great brother to the family itself. And
yeah.
then now you're suiting up for the Kentucky Colonels.
Right.
Under head coach, UB Brown.
Yeah, he'll be
UB Brown. What do you
tremendously.
what do you feel? How is Coach UB Brown treated you during your time?
Oh, great. We had a good relationship. He was tough, really tough, but I enjoyed him because I learned so much from him. He was just a basketball knowledgeable machine. I mean, he just
Yeah.
really knowed all the ins and outs. And even now, if you listen to his broadcast, he's so good and such a perfectionist. And during the time that we were together, just incredible statistics that he was able to keep from game to game. He says, "Okay, we played a game, a team twice." He said, "Well, we ran such a plays and X amount of times, and we were very successful that amount of times. So we're going to run that play. We're going to run those plays." And they had a list of all of those things, and we had playbooks, we had rules and regulations. So he was a pretty tough coach, but really good.
If I may ask, what type of plays that Coach UB designed? Does the offense focus on you?
Well, not really. We had a good, well-rounded team. Louis Dampier, who shot three
Louis
pointers
Dampier, yes.
from the perimeter, and Dan had his skill level that
That
he,
is so.
yeah, he played on the low box as well. He was good, spread the floor, shooting the three-pointers. So we had a very well-rounded team, and Hubie was very good at and understood how to use those talents.
And you have your famous trademark, the hook shot, especially the
The
left hook.
left-handed
Adam,
hook.
if I may ask, um, is that the shot that you developed during your time? That left hook? Are you fond of, I think you right left, am I right? That's why you're
I,
fond of taking left hook
well,
shots?
I play actually golf and a number of things I do right-handed, and but basketball and the right-handed hook shot. But actually, I started developing that because for when I graduated from high school, they actually took the slam dunk out of basketball,
Yes, in
college, and
NCAA.
so we weren't able to dunk the ball, and so you had to kind of develop other skill set. And with that, I was kind of secondary to the guy named Lou Alcindor at the time, but later
Kareem.
become Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Later become Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but I developed that hook shot, and in the early years, many years ago, a guy named George Mikan. I don't know if
George
you,
Mikan, yes.
yeah,
The
well,
Mikan drill.
yeah, he was the one to really kind of start the technique of it's like working the figure eight, going back around in a figure eight circle, shooting a hook shot right under the basket, and then eventually moving farther and farther away from the basket, taking those hook shots.
Well, Kuya Ryan, baka may follow-up question ka doon sa question ko regarding doon sa mga trademark niya. Go.
Yes, Artis, regarding the hook shot, who's the most difficult defender when you're trying to do a hook shot, especially on your heydays?
Oh man, Kareem was the best at the hook shot. And so the way that I had success against him was distorting his rhythm, forcing him to take a different kind of a hook shot. But for me, a hook shot is the best shot in the game because you turn around shooting a jump shot, guys had
Yeah.
an opportunity to come and block that, but you were not going to be able to block a hook shot because it's there, and you had your body between the defender and the offense, and you had that spread that so much distance. So it was difficult to get to a hook shot. But
Actually, you are a combination. Here's one thing. In the NBA, you have Will Chamberlain, and then you have
yeah,
Kareem. But in the ABA, if you will combine, that's you.
yeah, yeah,
What do you feel when Billy Paltz, your former ABA All-Star,
yeah.
said that you are the ABA's Will? What do you say?
Yeah, well, that's a tremendous compliment, but You know, they every day, every game, I was out there. It was work, and so I just made sure that I was prepared to go each and every game. So I knew big guys like Billy Paws, his skill level. He was really smart ball player. So the things
Yeah.
that he tried to do and understood what he had to do to try to would attempt to slow me down. Uh, and I had to figure out a way to get around him because he was just as my size, but he weighed a little bit more. So I had to deal with that. He just kind of laid on my back and on my shoulder, and just the attempt to wear me down. But I understood that strategy, so I found a way to get around it.
Now, in the ABA, who is your intense rival? Who is your most intense rival ever?
Well, in that time, it was George Gervin and Dr. J. Well, and the Nets, the four teams that came in the NBA was the Nets, the Spurs, and the
The
Denver
Pacers
and
and the Nuggets.
Indiana Pacers. Yeah, the Nuggets. So George, they had a very, very good team when they came in, and Denver had a really good team. But the other team, the two teams, the Nets and the Pacers, they had really, really poor teams, and so it was a long struggle for them. And when they came in as teams from the ABA as franchise, so it was quite a difference.
How about individual? Who do you consider as your rival individually?
Individually, it was Kareem, it was Bill Walton when he was healthy, Bob Lanier, Dave Cowens, and
In
even
the
Dave.
ABA,
Who?
in the ABA,
Oh, in the ABA. Well, it was Billy Pauls, Caldwell Jones,
Caldwell Jones.
Maurice Lucas.
Oh, the enforcer.
Yeah, the enforcer. Yeah, yeah. We ended up playing together just 1 minute after the league, just before the leagues merged.
And how about this guy? You fought this one during the finals in 1975. Mel Daniels.
Mel Daniels. Yeah, I think Mel didn't really play in the finals against us. He had he was at the end of his career. But we had George McGinnis. We
George
had,
McGinnis, the
yeah,
one-handed jumper.
yeah, Darnell Hillman, Billy Kilman.
Bobby
Uh,
Brown.
yes, and yeah, Danny Roundfield and Billy. Oh, what's Billy's last? I can't remember his name, right? But Billy played. He was really, really good in that game. He played really great.
But during the time in the ABA, Indiana is the most dominating team. And in 1975, you beat them. You beat them. You're the finals MVP. How does it feel to be a champion in the ABA?
Well, it's tremendous honor, but the NBA says, we really acknowledge you. If you win a championship in the NBA, that's it. That's winning it. But you know, a championship is a championship. They're hard to get. I mean, it's difficult to come by. And so
Exactly.
I am very, very proud of my accomplishment as a winner of the championship in the ABA. Really proud. So no question, it was an exciting time, special,
Kuya
extraordinary.
Ryan, may other question ka
Well,
ba?
for fast forward 5 years after when NBA introduced the three-point shot in 1980, did you ever think, artist, that setting up a hook shot on a 3-point line. Have you ever done that in your career?
Have you
Did
tried
I
it?
ever take 3-pointers from
Do you
yeah.
use hook shots on the 3-point line? Quite a bit.
Not a hook shot. That was what oh god, Manute Bowl.
Manute ball, yes.
A three
But
pointer from the hook from the 3-point line, but no, it was just a turnaround regular jump shot. I actually took a couple of those, and I actually made one. But Stan Auerbach was my coach in San Antonio, and before at when the leagues came together, he actually went to the Lakers, and Jerry West was the coach, and it was always like showtime, and so Stan always encouraged me. He says, "Now I want you to start off taking the 3-pointer. I want you to force Kareem to come out and defend you out. You know, because Kareem was always waiting for me to go to the box and catch the ball in the box, and he had a chance to defend me a little bit better. But he said if you can force him to come out and play on the perimeter and take the 3-pointer from there, and see if you knock down a couple of those, boy, that's going to really turn the game around and create some excitement." So Stan was all into the kind of the showtime environment, and the when playing in Los Angeles, because you had all the movie stars all around, you know, Jack Nicholson sitting right next to you. So
yeah.
it was a really kind of neat experience.
Now, going back, when the NBA and the ABA merged, you played with the Chicago Bulls. But I'm fascinated with this question before that. Why jersey number 53? What does it imply for you?
Well, it it started off when I was at Gardner Webb. I requested number 32. That was the number, my last number in high school. And because one of the upperclassmen had, privilege in the right, so he took that. He was able to take number 32. So the next number they had available was like 54. So I took 54. And so after my decision to go to Jacksonville, I requested number 52. But because one of the previous great players had already used that number and they retired that number. So then I said the next number up was 53. So 53 has become part of me for ever and ever, a part of my life. I've become
Actually,
really
there are
attached.
two players who wear number 53. It's
Yeah.
you
And
and Mark Eaton
well,
for the Union.
actually, Daryl Dawkins,
Daryl Dawkins
because
also.
yeah, he because of me, he chose number 53. So yeah, Daryl was a really good kid, a young man that was
The Chocolate
energetic. And,
Thunder. Well,
yeah.
during this one, I would like to show you some clips of your playing career that I hope you will enjoy. Wait a second. Wait.
Well, I'm waiting. Wait. Here it is. Here it comes.
Okay, okay. I'll just try to share. I'll just try to share. Wait.
Oh,
Where is
okay.
that? Where is that? Okay. Ah, sorry, I forgot to share. I forgot to share screen. Sorry. All right, share. Let's do this. Three, two, one.
33 lead changes tonight, 17-5.
Like that.
Gilmore.
Yeah.
Now that's Berger outside, beating the big guy, pushed from behind. No whistle on the play. Look at him back in.
Lefty
By
hook.
Gilmore.
Yeah.
And they're going to go to him now down low against Kent Benson.
Kent Benson, the number 1 pick,
Down.
1977.
Right.
Gilmore.
You're up the ball. Woo! This one against Wes Unseld.
Shot, and it is a beauty.
Yeah, I actually have that one on video on one of the basketball cards.
Big Artis. Can't allow that.
This one against Kareem. Oh, 1-on-1. Oh, come on. Artis Gilmore. Actually, you play with Bob Love.
The best players in
One
golf
of your
going
great
up against each other
guards.
head to head
Yeah, for a
inside
very
the
short
championship. You couldn't ask for any more than that. It's
Yep.
probably one of the most beautiful and prestigious golf courses in the nation. Artis Gilmore makes a nice move.
You played against Larry Bird, Kevin McHale.
Yeah.
42. Gilmore got a nice soft touch for the A.
Very soft touch.
Yeah.
Ollie Johnson takes a look down low at Gilmore. He's looking to hook it up on Sam Lacey. See how they double up on Gilmore.
Sam
Basket
Lacey.
goes, and Gilmore goes to the free throw line, Joe.
Torzik is definitely in the twilight zone. He's banging those jumpers home like that's something he's done all the life, and he does them normally like to shoot from the
That's
outside.
Bill Walton.
Gilmore.
Portland in 52 seconds. Here's Gilmore again. Owens. Gilmore to the hoop.
That's
96-95.
I know that voice. That's Brett Musburger, but Brett Musburger. Am I right? Am I right for the pronunciation? Yeah. Musburger.
Burger.
Yeah, Julius Irving. Okay, what can you say? What can you say about your memories playing that one, going up against Kareem, going up against McHale, Parrish, doing hook shots, and that is your only personal move. I have noticed.
That was, as I said before, you turn around shooting a jump shot, it's easy to come back and be able to block that, but you're not going to be able to stop a hook shot. I mean, they're impossible. And so I developed that hook shot and was very comfortable, especially taking, coaches says, okay, he's going to come left. So you got to get it over and stop him and force him to go the opposite direction. But if you notice, every time I went to the left, you have to stop that first and then force the individual to do something different, and that was what I was able to do.
You have actually, I will compare you two players. Actually, you faced that one in an exhibition game. The guy named Will Chamberlain. How strong is he when you face him?
He was the strongest, and I was just a rookie that particular year, and had no experience, and I had traveled all the way from Europe to come back just to play in this particular All-Star game in Nassau. So it was different, and it was good, but the NBA was not. They were not happy about that, because they were preparing for down the road, as far as the merger, and they were looking ahead, and so they weren't really happy with the two leagues playing against each other.
How about
ABA.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? You fought each other, battle of the two Skyhawks. What is it what's the feeling playing against the number one all-time scorer that will possibly eclipse by a guy named LeBron?
Yeah. Well, I knew every night competing against him was going to be a tough, challenging night. So I prepared myself. I was ready, and the most important thing about it, playing a great offensive player like that is that you can't just allow him to play defense against him. You have to force him to play defense against you as well, and that kind of balances it out. Otherwise, you standing on the defensive end playing defense every series. It makes it very challenging to be able to be effective on the floor, especially against a guy like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
How about this tandem from the Bullets, the Big E, Elvin Hayes, and the Big U, Wes Unseld?
Yeah, by the time we started to play against Wes Unseld, his knees were starting to go, and he was really effective. He's a smart player. He understood the game, so and he could do some. He was very effective on the court. Like for example, one of my teammates, I said, he wasn't able to play Elvin Hayes matchup out there, so they said, well, okay, we're gonna switch up. You play Elvin Hayes, you play me, I play Elvin Hayes, and you play Wes Unseld. So every time I come across and Elvin run me into the pit against Wes Unseld, and I said, man, listen, you got to call out left and right. You got to call those picks out. And so he never called them out. I ran into ran into Wes Unseld 3 or 4 times, and then so finally.
Is it true that if you're running into the pick by Wes, you're running into a brick wall?
Running into a wall. And so I said, Coach, we got to switch this around. I'll try to help Mickey as much because he was not a good matchup and couldn't stop Elvin Hayes. But, I would have been able to do so. But Elvin run me across that pick against Wes Unseld. And every time I run into that pick and Mickey standing there and he didn't call it out, he said left, right, let me know the pick is there so I could, fight around it. But anyway.
How about this guy? Number 1 pick, 1970, Spencer Haywood.
Well, Spencer, unfortunately, Spencer left straight from college. And he was the first player that actually bring a litigation against the NBA so they would allow underclassmen. The NBA would never take underclassmen players. And so Spencer fought that in court and took it all the way to the Supreme Court. And so that was kind of a resentment for a long time against Spencer. But Spencer was a great player whenever they allowed him to play. He started off in the ABA with the Pittsburgh Pipers and then finally, after the
Seattle.
Yeah, after the fight, in the Supreme Court, he was able to play in the NBA.
How about this? You fought against him. And I'm talking about Bob Lanier.
Yes, but Big Bob. Bob was 6'11", good left-handed jump shooter from the perimeter. Kind of remind me a little bit of Willis Reed, both of them. A left-handed shooter and shot extremely well around the perimeter. In fact, forced Wilt Chamberlain had to come from under the basket, because Wilt was always prepared for somebody to come to the basket, and he was one of the greatest shot blockers of all time. So, but Bob Lanier was a great competitor, and he was good at putting the ball on the floor, and he played a long time. But he ended up with bad knees. In fact, in the Final Four in the NCAA tournament, we played St. Bonaventure, and Bob had just hurt his knee, so he was not able to play in that game.
Actually, you played one more person before I will turn to Kuya Ryan. One more person, the 1975 NBA MVP, Bob McAdoo.
Bob Mac, the Mac can do. I call him pretty often now. He's really a dear friend. And I remember when I was at Gardner Webb, and Bob was just leaving high school, and he and I was supposed to go to Wake Forest together, but the way things worked out, he didn't. So he went to Vincennes for a couple of years, and then he ended up going to the University of North Carolina. But Bob was a hard-working, great player, and he played really well for Milano and played a long time in Italy.
Wait, Kuya Ryan, baka may question ka pa.
Yes, I like that artist, Bob Mac can do. So you owe him a Big Mac every day, yeah?
Yeah, I
Anyway,
use that term. Mac can do. So Bob McAdoo, he was absolutely phenomenal on the court, and he was and even now we're really.
You have a hard time to stop him 1-on-1.
Yeah, there was always matchup issues, and Bob was a center that played kind of the forward position. He was really quick out on the perimeter, great shooter, and if you go out there and challenge him, he was equally as good, putting it on the floor, driving it to the basket. And some players was able to do that. You go out, Dan Issel, Dave Cowens, and those individuals that was a little bit shorter, that had a tough time playing me under the basket, that forced me to come out and play them on the perimeter and chase them around. So, yeah, absolutely. Bob created that kind of a situation for me as well.
Kuya Ryan?
at this half point of this broadcast, artist, all of our guests will have what we call a round talk. So this is what will happen in round talk. You're just gonna answer real quick on the choices that you're gonna choose, and some of it are inspirational questions. So this will be entertaining. So here it is. Here's the round talk for you, artist. No? Hole in one or birdie?
Repeat the last question.
Hole in one or birdie?
Birdie.
Okay. Fruits or vegetables?
Vegetable. Yeah,
Okay.
I try to eat good now with vegetables.
Steak or chicken?
Chicken, steak, stay in your body too long. Yeah, so I
Here you go.
eat chicken now, but I used to love a really nice steak.
Okay, next question. Getting early or staying late?
What about late?
Staying late.
Stay late where? Up? Staying up late?
Yes,
Staying late.
up late or getting early.
For the games?
No,
Yeah,
on your
early.
daily routine, on your daily sleeping habit.
Oh, yeah. I'm up. I kind of sleep late. In fact, this broadcast woke me up, man. I'm still asleep right now.
I'm just unexpectedly called up by you. I just answered it. I don't believe that you will wake up during that time. Continue, Kuya Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay, let me continue, artist. No? Describe your life right now as a senior citizen. Describe your life right now as a senior citizen.
Man, do you think I'm a senior citizen? Which I am. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a senior citizen. Yeah, I play golf and play with my grandkids. Have 3 grandkids who are set of twins that's 11 years old, and then an 8-year-old little guy. And so I enjoyed my time with them and playing a little bit of golf. And then I have a 24-year-old son who he helps his old pop out a little bit, So
He loves
Yeah.
Popeyes.
I love that too. I love Popeyes. Anyway, let me continue.
No,
Artist, what was your biggest asset in life? What's your biggest asset in life?
the biggest contribution, the biggest deal,
Yeah, biggest contribution, something like that. Yeah, to
accomplishment.
that
Yeah,
effect. Correct.
I don't know, winning the championship, getting married, and having kids, and taking care of a family. You know, you can pick any one of those. That's been, and right now living very comfortable and talking to you guys
Yes. Let me continue. What
in the
was your
Philippines.
Yes, absolutely. Artist, what was your worst nightmare? What was your worst nightmare?
My worst nightmare. Oh, uh, probably getting ready to for the championship game. You know, your whole stomach and everything is kind of boiling, just getting mentally ready.
Because the season is on the line.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, final four questions, Artist. This is a good one. UCLA or UNC or University of North Carolina?
Um, Probably UCLA was the toughest. I mean that series, that was a very, very tough series for us.
Next, what was your favorite Chicago Bulls all-time player? Who's your favorite Chicago Bulls all-time player?
Probably. Well, I played with Norm Van Leer and Reggie Theus. I played together,
Norm
but
Van
Bobby
Leer.
Wilkinson.
Yeah.
Uh, we changed so many players. We went through so many players, but and I played half of the year with Michael Jordan before I went to half a year and played with the Boston with Larry Bird, and that was the way I finished my career before going to Europe and Italy and playing in Bologna. But yes, absolutely, that was a memorable experience.
Speaking of Europe or other countries, what was your farthest country that you traveled? The farthest country that you traveled?
Uh, Probably in Korea, I went to Ma- Malaysia. No, where do we go to? Vietnam. Yeah,
Vietnam. That
yeah,
was near in our country. That was near.
yeah. That's far. Probably the farthest that I've been.
And finally, Artist, for my final question on this round talk, complete the sentence. I love basketball because blank. I love
Uh,
basketball because blank.
I love basketball because it was rewarding. It was enjoyable, and plus financially security. Those are the reason. Basketball blank means that a number of things happen changed my whole entire life. So I love basketball because it was allowed me to be successful.
All right, Artist, thank you so much. That was my round talk. Billy, go ahead.
All right, absolutely.
Well, I have to talk about something like this, okay? Well, I mentioned those players earlier. Now, let's talk about. I have one more round talk question. I have one more. Chicago Bulls or San Antonio Spurs?
Oh, Chicago. I enjoyed the city. Yeah, it was bigger, and I could, for an example, when we would fly someplace in San Antonio, we would have to go from San Antonio to Dallas. And if we was playing Utah, then we'd have to fly to Dallas,
There's no
Denver, and then to
connecting
Utah.
flight.
But in Chicago, we could fly directly to that destination.
That's
So
the
absolutely.
reason why.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this. Well, during your time with Chicago, during your time with Norm Van Leer, the point guard, I know, and then you have Bobby Wilkerson. During your time in Chicago, what's the atmosphere of the fans?
Well, when we played, uh, the fans was a little slow about coming. They had some bad years before, and before I arrived, they only won 24 games that year. And so when I arrived, we actually had Scott May was the best player in college, but he didn't play for 3 years, and so we had to use the personnel that we had, and we had, and all of a sudden they brought Bobby Wilkinson in, and Bobby really, he was a big guard, smart, and he played for Indiana, and he helped us. He helped us to make things. He helped Norm Van Leer. He helped improve Reggie Theus. And then the following year, he ended up leaving. He signed. He just came in for 1 year, and then he goes to Cleveland. I don't know why that made it really tough not to have the same personnel. We changing so many different people every year. We had different people, different personnel. So we were never able to put that unity together.
And then after the Chicago Bulls, you went to the small city of San Antonio, Texas, to play with the Spurs. Ironically, there's a famous man named George Gervin, the Iceman, plays for the Spurs. How was it
Yeah,
feel playing with George Gervin?
Ghiaccio for ice. Yeah, George was good. He always had a smile on his face, and he really enjoyed the game. He loved
The
basketball, and
finger
the finger
roll.
roll. Like, we used to joke with him and said, George, Wilt Chamberlain actually created the finger roll, but George
Yes,
says I was able to take it to another level. So
with a flick of the wrist.
yeah,
The You have one more player that you have been teammates with. 00, Johnny Moore.
Johnny Moore. Yeah, Johnny was a good player, great player, but he ended up he caught desert fever. I mean, they said, man, like one out of 100 of those people survived that, but Johnny survived it. But he was taking medication for the entire time we played. As soon as he would take that medication, he was always like really sluggish and kind of lose his rhythm. He was out for a while, but when Johnny was out there in 100%, he was really, really tough.
And then during that time, okay, you were voted as a six-time All-Star. Um, and here are the years that you were voted as the All-Star. You were voted six times, 1978 and 79, with and then 1981 to 83, and then to 1986. Question: I would like to talk about the All Star because Alvin Robertson, that the one that I interview, I want him to share his All Star story, but we don't but connection problems just hampered. So what about you? What is your All Star story?
Yeah, well, you said the All Star in 1986. That was my last All Star game, and I played. We was in Dallas, and it was so cold, and it was snowing, and I'm trying to think of the country western singer was the big star for the All Star game. Now they have such a high profile media and everything. it is so entertaining now to watch a halftime game, a halftime show at the All-Star game. But God, I'm trying to think of his name.
How
Long
about Alvin?
Braid.
How about Alvin Robertson? You played with him during the 1986 All-Star game, the one
Yeah,
that he got his Defensive Player of the Year.
yeah. Alvin Robinson was a great player, and it was a great combination to have Johnny Moore and Alvin Robinson in the backcourt. The both of those, I mean, Johnny played really good defense, but sometimes Johnny would make a mistake, and he allowed his guard to drive down the middle of the floor, and he always reach around, and if he missed the ball, that means his defender was driving ball straight to me, and if I step up, then he would lay it off to my you know my center, the opponent as a center, and that was an easy shot. So we always talk to Johnny about keeping the defense in front of him, keep the guy in front of you, so that a situation like that could work. We would be able to avoid it.
But during that time, um, how do you feel that you were being part? You 6 times it happened. 6 times you were selected. Um, what did the family feel when you were selected 6 times? What did your family feel? Well,
Yeah, they were really proud of me, and and in fact, my last one, my oldest daughter was 15 years old, and so I ended up taking her to the All-Star game. So that was a, a really a great finish for me. And in fact, Spud Webb ended up winning the slam dunk contest in that
yes,
particular game. Yeah,
yes, the 50 slam dunk game.
yeah.
Actually, you played this one. And what can you say about their game playing while you playing? I'm talking about the original Twin Towers, Hakeem Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson.
Well, you know what? They were not the original Twin Towers. At Jacksonville University, it was myself and Pembroke Burroughs III. You will
But
remember, yeah,
in the NBA, it was
the
they are the
original
original
Twin
Twin
Towers
Towers.
in the NBA. Most people remember Akeem Olajuwon and, of course, Ralph Sampson. But it was always a challenge for me because, boy, if I get past one, then there was a secondary guy right there, for the
How hard
challenge.
how hard defending Ralph Sampson?
Ralph was a great player, and of course, he's about an inch or so taller than myself, but it was thin, so I could use, the weight, push him around a little bit.
Yeah, you're 240, 250. Well, Sir Ralph Sampson is around 228.
Yeah,
228.
yeah.
And but
That's seven.
Hakeem Olajuwon with his post moves, wow, you will just bewildered. How will you stop him, especially with his post moves?
Yeah. Well, I had experience when they first came in the league, so I was able to utilize the experience. But he was a very strong, talented, a smart, intelligent individual. So he started to really develop very, very quickly, and was able to gain a good understanding of the game.
How about this guy? He came into the league in 1984 and he impacted the league by storm. I'm talking about the rookie of the year that time, MJ.
Yeah, Michael in 1984, he came into the league after playing in the after playing in the Olympics, and of course, you just think about so many guys that was left off that Olympics, Charles Barkley, and I remember, of course, Alvin Robinson. He was a good defensive player, and Bobby Knight liked those type players, and so he selected him and got rid of guys like Charles Barkley, you know. But
Yeah.
it was he just made an impact right away. He was able to score at will, and he was scoring, you know, every game.
Is he quicker
40,
than you
50.
imagine? Is he quicker than you imagined when you fought against him? I know you're not in the same position, but defending the rim and Michael Jordan attacks you. How quick is he?
Well, he had a really quick step, almost like a David Thompson early
Yeah.
on. But I was able to, you know, if you standing there, that's enough. That's intimidating because you know I had a reputation for stopping, being the stopper. But Michael, you know, uh, I was out defending somebody else on the floor, so whenever he had an opportunity to get to the rim, he could get there because you know the way they spread the floor and the big guys had the ability to take the jump shot from the perimeter. So you had to. It was important to contest that.
Well, how about this? Larry Bird.
Birdie, yeah, we had some good times together. And of course, we had some tough times competing against each other. And in fact, accidentally, I ended up breaking his nose, you know, coming in for a layup. So, but later on, we become, you know, we were teammates. So it was not nothing intentionally. But a couple of guys who come in for a layup and accidentally got their nose broke with this elbow. That one.
That is a bad thing.
Big elbow.
Oh,
Yeah.
big elbow. But you
Yeah.
know, there's one person. I am very amazed with this person. Very quiet, but when he came to the other team, he's a goofy and a funny person. I'm talking about the three-time NBA MVP and Finals MVP one time in 1983, Moses Malone.
Yeah, Moses was a good friend as well. And Moses was the first player to leave from high school and to play in professional basketball with the Utah Jazz. In fact, Moses was really, really quiet, and I would talk to Moses, and that was the beginning of a really developing a really great relationship. And so Moses become he and I was lifelong friends until the day he
Especially,
passed.
especially, you're battling yourself with Moses Malone on the offensive rebound, on the rebounding. Especially, you're trying to box it up, but how hard is Moses Malone having a how hard to box out a guy like Moses?
Yeah, it was difficult because Moses was really active around the basket. He was always moving, and you always looking trying to find him, and he's at a different location. So uh, he was pretty active around the basket.
But well, the guy before Moses Malone came, this guy, he can posterize you. The Chocolate Thunder, Daryl Dawkins.
Well, actually, Moses was in much earlier than Dawkins came in later with the Philadelphia 76ers. But when Moses came in the league, they were not accepting players until
From high school.
from high school. They were not accepting players. And that was one of the reasons that ABA was able to catch up with the NBA so quickly.
Well,
Yeah.
are there times, sorry to ask you, are there times that you got posterized by that guy, the Chocolate Thunder?
Posterized by everybody. And it was showing all those highlights of Kareem, me taking the hook shots over him. But he had his share that he took over me as well. So yeah, but I don't know. Daryl was never able to get to the basket and dunk one right in my face. But of course, you know, he had a reputation for taking down the whole entire rim and crashing down baskets, crashing baskets. So yeah, a little different.
Kuya Ryan, baka may question ka pa.
Yes, I remember Artis in the 1970s. I believe NBA innovated the game called horse, wherein like Gervin, Maravich played against each other to win the prize. Have you experienced playing horse against those players, Gervin, Maravich, etc.?
Playing horse.
Of yeah, we have played, in practice and shoot around. We would play horse, and of course, George was a much better shooter. He called it, and of course he made it. But a really kind of a better story is that when I was with Boston and before the All-Star game, um, Larry Bird says, I'm going to win the 3-point shootout. And we had also Danny Ainge was in that contest as well. But so Danny says, hey, no, I'm going to win it. Larry says, hey, I got it. It's mine. So, and no question about it, Larry was able to go and get it done and won that championship, won the shootout 3 times. Yeah.
Actually, you played this guy. Um, you played this guy during 1980s. How about the teammate of Larry Bird? Ish.
Yeah. Larry was just an incredible, knowledgeable player. He just had such a great understanding of the game. And there was one particular play where this was 1 year before I arrived in Boston, but they were playing Detroit in the playoffs,
Hmm.
and it was
What's
just
that? The steal?
instincts that Larry just stepped in front of the ball, whereas um, Isaiah Thomas was passing the
I know
ball.
that.
Yeah,
And
he got
there's
it
a
to
steal by
Dennis.
Bird. Up the lane to DJ. DJ lays it in.
Yes, exactly.
Johnny Moss. Johnny
That,
Moss said that.
Johnny
That
Moss.
you know, regarding the Celtics, regarding your stint with the Bulls, um, your one season stint. How do you feel playing alongside with the trio of Bird, McHale, and Parrish? And the other one, how do you feel playing alongside the emergence of MJ? First up with
Well,
the trio.
in Boston, I didn't. Casey Jones was the coach, and I was excited about just being there. The first time that I've been in a really tight environment and lasted so long. Going to in June, we were, of course, we lost to the Detroit Pistons, but it was great competing against. For the first time, we played in Detroit. We had 53,000
The
fans.
Pontiac Silverdome. Yeah, am I
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. But I was only with Michael for half a year, and for very short time, and Michael was going into his fourth year at that time. So he was continuing to be, moving forward. In fact, they had just drafted Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant, which was that three combination. But they were all young players, and they were in a developing and growing stage, preparing themselves for the championships in the 90s.
Well, actually, you said um, playing against the Detroit Pistons. So, how do you feel playing against the bad boys? Namely, Bill Laimbeer, you have John Sally, you have Rick Mahorn, you have Dennis Rodman, Joe Dumars, and Isaiah Thomas.
No, I never had a problem.
Oh,
I never had a problem.
Why is
why
it?
is it? Why
That was
is it?
one of the things they respected. They respected the power. And you notice that they called me the A train. A train represent power, and you acknowledge that, and you respect it, and they did. Believe me, they did.
But how physical was this? I know you entered. You have so much experience physicality wise, but playing against the bad boys, what kind of tricks they did to you?
There was
But
very careful, very careful. Walking,
careful.
walking on nails around me. Uh,
But who do you think, Ute, among the Detroit bad boys, who is the toughest player that you have faced in that bad boys?
uh, Nobody, probably Rick Mahorn, mostly, because he was the really most physical one of the individuals, because he played on the basket. Lambert played way out on the perimeter, shooting. So, there was no challenge, personal challenge there. And they called the pick and pop, He
Yeah,
goes,
that's great. Pick and pop.
yeah, and they go out and play him. And as soon as I stepped back, he stepped farther back on the pick, and then pop back, and he catch the ball and shoot the shot from the long perimeter.
So you
But
didn't experience blood. You didn't experience getting bloodied. You didn't experience getting injured, bones crack with the bad boys. You don't.
no bones cracked against that team. But I did get an elbow where I had this not against those guys. That was in Utah though. This happened
Well,
with the Utah
Utah.
Jazz. Yeah,
So you fought against the mailman, Carl Malone.
yeah.
How's it feel to play against the mailman?
Well, he was. Uh, I'm trying to remember whether he was. I was just about at the end of my career when he came in, but yeah, we played against each other. He and Stockton Malone, John Stockton,
Malone, yes, and then you have Mark Eaton during
Mark
that
Eaton.
time.
Yeah, the guys was kind of funny on my team. They said, when you stood behind Mark Eaton, you look like a little forward.
But, Kuya Ryan, baka meron akong follow-up question.
Well, of course, at the end of your career, Artis, you played in Europe, you played countries. Tell us about the European style of play when you're about to finish your basketball career.
Yes.
That's a great question. When I finished and a chance to go after 17 years in the NBA ABA combination, and then I was able to bring my family to Italy for 1 year. So that was like an educational experience, a cultural experience, a different a language, and my kids being able to go to school there, and it was just and the European players that God they practiced 3 times a day, and
And
you
then,
play.
how physical was it? How physical was it in Europe, especially in Bologna?
Yeah, the players were very physical. I mean, they had two really good teams in Bologna. Excuse me, Michael Ray Richardson, who would play with the other team.
Yes, Michael Ray
Well, yeah,
Richardson.
yeah,
Yes.
and we played against them, and their team was the best at that time. So we split 1-1 that particular year. But
Actually, you averaged 12 points and 11 rebounds, and you made it to the All-Star team.
yes, Yes, and that was a fun experience. It was played in Rome, and I had the chance to sit back with a number of former American players who played in the NBA, and
Yeah.
it was a really good gathering, a chance to enjoy.
So during your time, if I may ask, you fought this guy, Arvidas Sabonis.
Savitas Sabonis. No, I didn't
Arvidas
play.
Sabonis. Ah, you
No,
didn't. Mm.
no, he was much later. Apparently, if we would have came in the league. But Savitas Sabonis and I, we were inducted into the Hall of Fame
Yes.
together. And you mentioned that I was the 12th. It was the 11th. 11. It's almost 11 years ago now. But I was inducted in 2011.
Yeah, 2011. Yes, you heard it right. But here's the thing. Actually, there's only one stat that you are the king. And that one is the field goal career percentage of 59.9%. Okay,
Amazing.
go. Kuya Ryan.
Yes, Billy. With that kind of field goal shooting, how did you maintain its consistency as far as the field goal shooting is concerned throughout your career?
Yeah, well, maintaining that kind of a level because the guards like to take the shots. They love shooting the ball. So I said, well, every possession that I have, that I've got to make it count. So that was part of the reason, making certain that I was able to catch the ball in a position where I was very comfortable and catching the ball in rhythm. If you notice those videos, I was good at catching the ball in rhythm and continue with motion, not taking it, putting it on the floor,
You're not
holding it.
too much dribbling during the
Yeah,
time.
no,
When you
no,
got the ball, you're just straight going to the basket. No
right,
much, no dribbling too much. If
right,
no, there are two dribbles, I think.
right. For the most part, and not, and it's done in very quickly, not allowing the defense to merge and converge and become, congested in the area. So quick decisions were made.
And then, well, you were inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2011. Thank you for the correction. 2011. And then you were in Springfield. You were in Springfield, Massachusetts, at the Naismith Hall of Fame building. What do you feel going up saying that you are the Hall of Famer? What
Well,
feel?
well, John DeLevy, who is the president, and it was kind of funny when they first called me in April. It was like almost near April 1st, and I said, "Wow, this is a ugly April Fool joke." They were calling me, and so I was thinking, and so finally they called me. He called me 2 or 3 times and confirmed that the fact that we will be announcing that you have been selected for the Hall of Fame, and that process started. They named the players in Houston, and of course the induction ceremony was in August, and so man, I had all that time thinking about it all during the summer. So it was that was an incredible moment for me, and really the ultimate achievement in basketball is to make it as a Hall of Famer. I mean, that's a tremendous accomplishment.
And well, in 2011, you are the play. Here are the players that you are have been included. Wait, here what? Where are the players?
You said Sabita Savanas.
Yes, Arvidas Sabonis is one of them, and then Dennis Rodman is I think is 2012. 2012 is Dennis
No,
Rodman.
Dennis was in there with me. Dennis Rodman, and we were there
Yes, Dennis
together.
Rodman is with you. Yes, Dennis Rodman, and then um okay,
Sad
but
Sanders.
yes, Satch Sanders, Harlem Globetrotters. I forgot.
No, Sad
No,
Sanders played
for
with the
Boston,
Boston Celtics. And
Boston, 1950s. Tom Satch Sanders. Yes,
yeah,
that's right. Um, you know, Hall of Fame, and you are part of it. What a renowned. Actually, there's one new known personality went into the Hall of Fame. Tex Winter.
yeah.
Tex Winter, the architect of the triangle offense. And I will say that is a that is one of the things that I will say, wow, the best players putting up into the scale of being a Hall of Famer. Okay, 2011, ito nga. You have Goose Tatum, a Harlem Globetrotter, right? You have Teresa Edwards, then you, then Arvidas Sabonis, Chris Mullen.
Right.
Chris Mullen.
And that was actually Chris's second time he was inducted in with
Yes,
the
US Dream
95.
Team.
Yeah, the Dream Team. And so that was, as an individual, that was his second time being
Yeah,
inducted into the Hall of
Chris
Fame.
Mullen as a individual, yes, correct.
Yeah, so yeah, it was
Now,
a good group and a great class in 2011. Good selection of people.
now, what is your later life? Actually, you came back to your alma mater at Jacksonville University, and now you're provide being the radio color commentator during your time until now. I think with Jacksonville, if I may ask, why did you came back to Jacksonville?
Well,
Being
yeah, Jacksonville was the place where I really started at, and I felt that it was a good place to return and, of course, to raise my family. And that was my decision for returning here to this location and leaving San Antonio. But absolutely, it's been great. My kids have moved on, so it was the right decision for me.
and then you wrote the book, and I want to see the book that
Yeah.
you. I want I want you to promote that book,
Yes.
the Eighth Grade,
Great cover.
and
I like that cover. Huh?
I like that
70
cover,
style.
Yeah. So
and I can guarantee you, okay, you will give it to no. Don't worry, we will promote that book. We will
okay.
promote that book. We Kuya Ryan, help natin siya i-promote natin yung book niya. Dali nga.
Yes,
Well,
you can promote the book, of course.
well, well, the shipping cost will be expensive quite a bit because it is from the States, and but we will definitely help you. Just send the picture of that book. Um, if I may
So
ask,
so what I'm saying is I can make enough money off the book to come to the Philippines.
no problem.
Oh, that's nice.
No, that's
Yeah.
nice. That's nice. And we will actually. I have a friend like who can possible promote that. Who can make a promotion out of it. I have a friend that who collect He is actually a collector. He is actually a collector of basketball items. Si Doc, kilala mo yun, Ryan, Kuya Ryan? Si Doc.
Yeah, one of the promoters of that book is Michael Doc Messina. He's a doctor, but he loves to collect books.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
can
So
help you.
I need enough to make a round trip ticket, have a hotel, and eat, be able to eat, and then I come back. I come back. It's too far to go for 2 or 3 days, so I stay for about 4 days, and then I come back.
Well, let's promote about it. Let's promote it. Like, let's try to help you. But for me, aside from the book itself, I'm just very honored. We are just very honored that we talked to you. Now, here is my question. In your basketball career, from high school to college to professional, now you're now a Hall of Famer. In one word, how will you describe your basketball career?
After reaching the pinnacle of the game, which is a Hall of Fame, that says a lot. But the most important thing is that playing the game allowed me to keep my family together and be able to do things for other people, create a charity, and give so much back to the game, and get involved and be able to make a difference in other people's lives other than just mine. And so that's what basketball has been able to do for me over the years. And I'm just so thankful that I've been in a position to be able to do these things.
So it's all
That's what you call paying it forward, artist. Paying it
Yeah,
forward.
yes,
paying it
absolutely.
forward. And then I have a last few questions. Who is your most favorite teammate of all time?
Well, George Giacho Iceman, we still maintain a relationship, but you know, George is probably it. We maintain each other, but I have a number of guys that we maintain a good relationship, and we do some appearances together. Like Otis Birdsong, he's got a company and we do things together. And so I would say probably George Gervin is the closest. We get together, play golf, and go out and eat together and just enjoy uh,
With
each other's
regards to
company.
golf, artist, with regards to golf, who always wins, you or George Gervin?
Uh, Probably George. He's right now. He was uh, selected as one of the top 75. So George has done really well, very well.
And I hope that, well, I don't know if that happens. There's a centennial, 100 years. I hope you will be chosen into the next 25. Um,
Well, I won't be here in 25.
yeah, I know. I know. It's understandable. But who
But
knows?
your legacy will continue, artist, on your children and your grandchildren. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and here else, here's my request. Um, can I invite that guy? I'm talking about the Iceman, George Gervin, to interview him.
Well, I'll reach out to him and see if that we can make that happen for you.
Ho ho!
And probably if not May, let's go by June. Let's go by June, and I want to interview. If I may ask, do you have close NBA retired players, or yeah, retired players, or even current players that who uh, might be free during the off season that we could talk with? Do you have
All right.
some
Or come in
recommendations?
contact with. You always come in contact with. That's what really what trying to say.
Okay. All right. I'll reach
Him
out. See,
actually, actually, how about this guy? Do you often talk to Tim Duncan?
Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
I have no contact with
Mm.
Tim. So he just, you know, I would go and see him at some of the games, but
Ah,
he just and he's a really nice person. But I don't have any kind of a
and
connection with him.
even the Admiral David Robinson.
Yeah, uh, I've seen David a few times at different functions at the, but I you know
Well,
the only people that that I'm actually connected and close to is guys like George Gervin. I can pick up the phone and call him, but I can't pick up.
George Gervin. I'm looking forward to George Gervin. The
Yeah, all right. I'll
Iceman
try to get George
is.
for you.
Thank you. By June, I hope by June. Let's target it on the second week of June, and I hope
Which is
that
the NBA Finals week. That's for sure.
Oh, okay,
yes.
okay.
And well, before we end, I forgot this one. We're now talking about the playoffs. We're now talking about the playoffs itself. Although there's no confirmation who will be the seeded teams except for Miami, who is number one, Toronto is number five, Chicago is number six, Phoenix is number one in the West, and Memphis is number two. Now, my question to you is first, for the San Antonio Spurs, how far will they go?
They're struggling right now, and they've got a play-in game. It's going to be tough for them. So, and they're not in rhythm. You have to have everything has to be perfect during the playoffs. And if you're just kind of sluggish and you have like the
Absolutely.
Bulls right now, they lost 3 games in a row. That's not good. And they got beat pretty bad the last game against Boston. Was it Milwaukee? But anyways, everything has got to be rolling just right during the playoffs.
Now,
And
okay.
yeah, and everybody has to be healthy and focus and understand that the unit as a team, as the objective is to win together and to be able to play well together. But if that's not happening, you have some little kinks in there. It makes it difficult to have the kind of success that you anticipate.
Now, how about this? The Chicago Bulls, who are stayed at number six, and they will play either Milwaukee, Boston, or Philadelphia. How far will the Chicago Bulls go through it?
Well, as again, I was just there. I watched them lose 3 games in a row, the last 3 games, and they're having a tough time now. They went through the COVID, and Ball is he's out for the
Out for the season.
season,
Yeah.
and some of their best players.
That's big.
Yeah, it is, and it makes it tough. And so I really don't expect a lot to happen this year for the Chicago Bulls.
So,
Artist, but my follow-up question who do you think will be champions of NBA this season? Your feelers forecast, Artist.
The my pick for the champions this year. Oh, ooh.
but before that,
Milwaukee might be there. Giannis, this kid, I
Giannis.
watched him play. He just do whatever he wants to on the floor. Nobody can stop him. He just when he wants to go to the basket, he goes to the basket. Even though he's not really that good at foul shooting, but he can.
Oh, I forgot to ask that question. if you will play during your in your prime and you are going up against the new generation of centers, namely Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, and even Carl Anthony Towns, can you stop them?
No question, absolutely.
You just bullied them.
No problem. Piece of cake. Ice cream.
Well, that is bully ball for you. That's why
Yeah,
you're called as the A train.
that's right. That's power.
Well, so who do you pick to meet in the Western Conference Finals?
Well, probably Golden State. They're playing pretty well right now, and they got everybody's working together. And the Clippers, I don't know.
Oh,
They
the Clippers. I know Kawhi Leonard will definitely back into the playoffs, and if that happens, the top teams will definitely be scared of it,
That's a
right?
yeah.
How about in the East? Who do you think will face in the Eastern Finals?
In the Eastern Finals, again, right now it has to be, Milwaukee has to be the favorite.
Okay, and who will face Milwaukee?
Uh, maybe Boston.
Boston. Okay,
Oh.
Boston
Yeah.
is a dark horse for me, and for Golden State and
My
Phoenix,
my
for me,
co-host here, Ryan Mercado, who is not here, he's Boston.
he's a
The
Boston fan.
big Boston fan. Okay.
That's why he's fascinating with the Celtics. Now, Coach Kuya Ryan asked, who do you pick to become the best team? Or who will be the champion, in your
Well,
opinion?
again, I really believe that Milwaukee understand. I was
Milwaukee.
watching how they just rest their players right now. They know that they are in, and I mean, they didn't have their best players in against the Bulls from time to time, and they just really just they was able to do whatever they wanted to do against the Bulls. Giannis was not even in. I mean, he was just in and out. He didn't score a lot of points, but he did whatever necessary when he was in the game. He could do whatever he wanted.
Well, if you're
Artist, that's what you
saying
call smells back to back, huh?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
you, if you will actually, if there is a version of the A train today, like you, there's one. I don't know if you will be, if you will say, if you will judge with this Aquaman, Steven Adams.
Steven Adams.
Yes, from the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah.
That strong,
I haven't seen very much of him. Not a whole lot,
but
but
your style of play, actually his style of play is like almost like yours, being a bull strong old school center. And his slow post moves, actually he has a hook shot, just like you.
well, and that's really unusual because there's not that many people use them anymore. I had a young player here at Jacksonville University, and I really tried to stay out of the game, and not be a sideline coach. But when I would speak to him, I said, "Man, you got a great 2 feet jump hook shot. Use it, man. Nobody can stop it. It's quick, and you don't have to worry about the double team. And that's one thing about happens in college. You always get the quick double team, and the real good defensive teams, they're the ones that have success, and the kids are moving very quick and rotate very well. But when you that skip pass, second skip pass, it's kind of difficult to get to that shot and allow those the players individual time to be able to get the 3-point shot off. But old style players, I mean former, like you say, hook shot player from the Grizzlies, that's significant. If you can make that happen, and then the way the floor is split, you're not going to have much of a double team. So it's an isolation 1-on-1. So that allow you to get those movements in pretty quickly.
Now, here's my final question to you as we will end our podcast. My final question to you is, what will be your message to um, future players, especially from high school to college, that they want to pursue being an NBA player?
Well, no, first of all, I would say, get it upstairs academically, prepare yourself academically. And that basketball knowledge, it comes with that. Certainly just focusing on young players today. My most important thing to message to them is understand the basic fundamentals of the game. And the game has changed, evolved in so many different ways, but the fundamentals stays the same. So that would be my message to those young guys.
Thank you very much. Wow, I know it is quite
Oh yes.
what do we call this? It's not enough, but your story tells it all. Your story tells it all. An 80-year career playing basketball from 1971 until 1989, and then you were inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2011, alongside with Dennis Rodman and Arvidas Sabonis. All I can say is one big salute to the A Train.
Bravo, magnifico, Mr. Artis Gilmore.
Guys, make sure.
Yeah, we will promote that. We will promote that. I will need help from our resident doctor who is
I
a
can't
avid.
make it to the Philippines unless you sell some books.
Let's do
I'll
it.
be your first buyer, that's for sure.
Me too. Me too. And I will have your autograph signed.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there you have it. And wow, it's a great honor for us with me and Kuya Ryan interviewing the A Train artist Gilmore.
El Magnifico.
And let's see
Magnifico.
by June that I will interview the Iceman, George Gervin. And if that happens, wow. Wow, we. Actually, kasi, before I end it, um, his son, George Gervin Jr., he actually played here in the Philippines as
Yeah.
an import. As an import for Coca-Cola. I-search mo yan, Kuya Ryan. Naglaro yung anak ni
Yes,
George.
2006. I believe 2006, 27. I can't remember the exactly, but I'll search for it.
But the son of George Gervin, he has the game. Although he is actually small, I think he's around 5'10". I'm talking about the son of George Gervin.
Barely 6 feet. He's barely 6 feet.
Yes, barely 6 feet because George Gervin is around 6'7". So I will say that is a parting shot. So thank you very much, guys, sa pagtutok nyo sa amin. And marami kaming naitanong. And I'm very happy to interview Artis Gilmore. One more! One more question.
Part two, part two.
Actually, in the Philippines, we say this word, maraming salamat. And in English, thank you.
Thank you
Yes,
very much.
my pleasure. Absolutely.
Now, and guys, if you have more questions, if you have requests, who will I interview next? Well, let's see by May. I'm just trying to make a confirmation for that guy, but wait for my announcement. But actually, we will have a special round ball tomorrow. Why? Because we will talk about the playoffs. We will talk about the playoffs. And who will we predict in the first round? So, well, I will play my final music. And here in the Philippines, we love this song. Wait lang. Wait lang. You know, I'm just very honored. I'm just very honored. So, thank you very much, everyone, for watching our show. This is Billy Manzano with Kuya Ryan Pajaro and my guest, Artis Gilmore. This is the
Round ball. Artist, thank you very much. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure talking to you. Hopefully, this will not be the last, huh?
No, not the last time, just the beginning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Take care there in Chicago.
Take
Happy
care.
Sunday.